Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Cilinix Crypto. I hope you're all doing great, and welcome to this new video right here on the crypto markets. We'll focus on Bitcoin, we'll focus on Ethereum, XRP, and just in general the general markets and altcoins. It's Independence Day, of course, so the US markets are closed. So in general, there's less volume, as you can see down here, which means that the moves we're seeing right now are also a little bit less trustworthy, but there's some interesting things nonetheless going on, which I'll tell you what is going on, but I cannot tell you too much about, what it means and what type of effect it's going to have on the markets, all right? Because I'm getting new information right now to the left, which is very, very relevant fundamentally, about dormant addresses, right? So very old Bitcoin addresses that have not that have not done anything for years and years. These are addresses of like 14 years that nothing has happened. They're all of a sudden they're moving funds around. So I don't have the full information about that, and I'm also not certain about this. About this data that I'm getting and whether it's 100% verifiable, but it's look, in the end the technicals will tell us the full story, right? But it is something you should know about. I mean, at this point of time, I think it's about 6-7 addresses containing $1 billion in Bitcoin, which is a lot, all right? Reminds me a little bit of last year when we had the German government offloading billions of dollars in Bitcoin. But that does matter, right? So that's look. I mean, if that continues and if those addresses start selling, we will drop down very, very quickly, right? And right now, that's also the thumbnail of this video. We're at a crucial level. That's true, right? I mean, at this point of time, if you take a look at Bitcoin, this level right here, around 108,000, which by the way has already failed to hold on the 1 hour time frame. That needs to hold. If we're unable to hold that, it's very likely that this was just the top of the range and that we're going to start to drop down into this level right here between 103.5 and 101,000. So therefore, it's very, very relevant. Outside of that, there's no real fundamentals. And to be fair, I mean, the general financial markets are quite stable at this point of time. I mean, if you take a look, obviously, like I said, the US markets are closed. But if you take a look at the S&P 500 futures right here on CME, that's fine. So it's really, I mean, I would have loved to have some more information for all of you regarding these dormant addresses and what it means and just in general, what we can expect for that. But for now, I would be on the careful side. Now, when we're talking about this news, though, in the market, look, most important is always the technicals. Like, the technicals always tell you the full story. And at this point of time, I'm also not fully convinced about the technicals. I mean, we've dropped down below 108,000 here. We dropped down below the 7-day rolling VWAP. We need to reclaim this. And this is, forgetting about those addresses. Just talking about the technicals. If we actually want to stay bullish here, we cannot fall back into that same into that previous balance area right here, right between 101,000 and 106.5, because that would be the first bearish development we have seen since the 23rd of June, right? So in the last 2 weeks or so. So it's absolutely crucial over the course of today. I would say in the next couple of hours. That we're going to be able to reclaim that. And if we're able to reclaim 108,000, then we're fine. Then we'll jump back up to those naked POCs up there, and we'll find some stability around 109,000. And from there, I would say it's most likely we'll also still make, not necessarily new all-time highs, but that will at least get back up to those levels. So that is, it's absolutely crucial. And if we're unable to do that, if we're unable to reclaim 108,000 today, even though the volume is relatively low right now, and even though the markets are closed, I would still say that matters. And I would still say that then we will drop down at least to 106.5, but potentially even lower. So yeah, that's what I think you need to know about Bitcoin. I think Ethereum is actually holding on relatively, better. It's also not holding on great, but what I said this morning in my video about Ethereum is that, as long as we're holding 2,475, we're fine. And it does look quite likely that we're going to drop down into that. But if we're going to be able to hold that, we can even spike down to 2,450. I think we're fine. I think we can remain stable, and I think we can have some new bullish momentum, maybe later in the weekend, maybe next week. And then XRP is just doing nothing. XRP is very stable. And that's especially if you take a look at this chart right here, I expect that to remain stable. This is what I said this morning. That's still what I expect for right now. Now, talking about altcoins, right? So it's Independence Day today, and we're going to have a long weekend. That means that we're going to get manipulation. All right. Now, manipulation. There's a couple of coins that I think look quite interesting for this manipulation. First of all, Sahara is experiencing some higher volume. So these are definitely not signals. But if you want to trade, if you want to take some risks, trade these coins, right? Short or long, that's up to you. ARK, you can already see it with the price action, but ARK is also quite interesting right here. And then the last one, I would say maybe Tyco. So Tyco is a bit of a strange project, but that looks quite interesting right here as well, and has already broken out with quite a lot of volume. And then when we're talking about some more, you know, some more cryptos that are reliable to trade, this first pick is going to sound very strange, but I think Nero is getting towards a very high confluence level right here around 0.00042 and 0.0004. I think that can have a great bounce if we don't get a huge market-wide crash. And then outside of that, I mean, there's not much that I think you need to know about. Pengu still has very high volume, so that looks great to buy after a pullback. And then it's very much the veterans that still look quite good, right? So Uniswap doesn't look that bad. I think Aave doesn't look that bad to buy at support down there. And something like Chainlink also looks quite good, which I also made a video on, by the way, this morning. But those are my thoughts for this Friday. I'll be back with new videos tomorrow, of course. But for now, that's it. So thank you for watching. Take care and bye.